Have you heard about Billie?
Hello Believes and soon to be Eves. Today we're diving into the lore of K-pop girl group Billlie from 2021 to 2024, across 5 mini-albums and various singles. There are also 5 concept films. I recommend that you watch at least the first 2, Billlie Chapter 1 and 2, to get a feeling for Billie's world before watching this video. Billlie is not only the group's name, but also the main character in the lore, Billlie Love. There's multiple versions of what happened to Billlie. Let's start with the debut version. The story is told from 3 perspectives, from that of the girls who were involved, the rumors spread by the adults in their town, and from the perspective of a child telling the story to her friends as ghost story, urban legend, cautionary tale generations later. It is the story of an intrusion on the 11th day in summer, when the bell suddenly rings 11 times. Mystic purple rain fell, and a fearsome intruder took Billlie from her attic. Only he children could hear the bell and the siren that sounded like a crazy bird, and they knew that it meant that purple rain will fall and a child would be taken to the other side because they received a purple message. They spend the summer day as always, everyone together with someone, safe. This happy, safe and strong feeling of being together is shown in the fan song Flowered. They didn't know that Billlie was alone in the attic. They couldn't protect her, so the safest, yet the most dangerous, a person without love, took her away. The adults tell us that Billlie had a father called Mr. Love, who told them that Billlie ran away from home. The gossip created the song The Rumor. She had waited for her friends to come and protect her, but no one came. The girls became liars, ridden with guilt, despair, self-criticism and sadness, waiting for Billlie and trying to find her. Somehow, they forget about her, although an uneasy feeling remains. That is the meaning of the songs The 11th Day and Everybody's Got a Secret. Then they get a message that the strange events will repeat. The purple rain falls, and they start to remember again, now determined to find her. The song Flipping a Coin is about the decision of whether to search for Billlie or stay silent. It is a difficult decision, both answers seem bad, dangerous or scary. To find out what you really want, underneath all that thinking, you throw a coin. When the coin shows you the decision, you realize which outcome you secretly hoped for. Generations later, 3 children visit the house. The girl tells them that the girls are waiting for them in the attic. But there is no attic. However, if you're desperate, close your eyes, wake up your senses and open your mind, you can get a ticket to that world, go up the stairs and visit the world of 11. Without interpreting much, it is the story of a violent event that happened to Billlie while she was separated by her friends. She has disappeared, so maybe she died. And the whole town acts as if nothing terrible happened, suppressing all knowledge of the circumstances to the point that the girls are not even sure if her name really was Billlie. Maybe it was so traumatic that they suppressed their memories of Billlie. Or maybe they are guilty of something and hide them for that reason. The album cover introduces us to the first very important concept, the A-side and the B-side. Whatever I show you, this is not my all. We always only know a part, the A-side. But there are multiple jagged and rough parts in us. There is also the mysterious, hidden and even dangerous B-side. This means that Billie's world will show the multiple selves within each of us. The weird side we keep hidden out of embarrassment and fear of judgment. But if everyone has this side, wouldn't it be meaningful to live wholeheartedly and show the world? So an interpretation of the story would be that everyone is Billlie. Billlie represents the B-side everyone has. We can find it in the lyrics. Haruna and Sua sing, "Hello, it's me, Billlie," in the lyrics of The Rumor. Soohyun sings, "Yes, I'm Billlie for now," in Flipping a Coin, and Sean sings, "Found Billlie and it seems like it's me," and Soohyun, "Who's this Billlie in the mirror?" in Gingamingeo. There's also the emphasis on the expression, everyone, and the collective unconscious. Billlie has disappeared because we have started to hide or suppress parts of ourselves. We can find that interpretation in the concept film, What Is Your B? From the Collective Soul and Unconscious Chapter 1, where it says, to meet her. To meet my B, what is your B? This implies that everyone has a B, A Billlie. They pick this idea up again in the concept film for the Billage of Perception Chapter 2, The End of the World and the Awakening. Here each member tells us their B-side name. Suha is Bishop, Soohyun is Birdcage, Haram is Bijou, Suki is Blossom, Sean is Bubbles, Shiun is Beast and Haruna is Balloon. And then there is also Billlie, which represents all of us. The liner notes give us more information on their B-sides. It shows them as parts of their personality that won't be easily accepted by society because they are women. Shiun's B-side is wild and confident, even though others may find that uncomfortable. Soohyun's B-side is made of steel, nothing can change or break her. She will change the other person to her liking instead. Suki's A-side may look like pretty and easygoing, but her B-side knows how to defend herself. Sean's B-side hates being underestimated and overlooked. She will fight for her success. Haram's B-side won't dim her light for anyone. Haruna's B-side won't be tied down by relationships. She will find her own path. Sua's B-side refuses to follow the path everyone takes, always looking to rewrite the map. Here their B-sides are strong, empowered and undeterred, something that society has long tried to suppress in women. Now let's also look at the Ring by Ring lyrics some more. It seems like the girls are talking to Billlie, saying, "Where are you? You wait, I'll go find you. Is it too late?" While Billlie asks for help, "Come find the missing, save me cause I'm risky." This song is the most straightforward in suggesting that Billlie was the victim of a violent crime. In the music video, we see the girls investigating her disappearance from the house. These scenes look like they are straight out of a thriller or crime film. And the lyrics say that there are no traces, so is she dead? Then they find a trace. Is it blood? It hasn't dried yet. They ask themselves whether she really has gone on a trip or run away as the adults claim, or whether it was a crime or disappearance. The "What is your B?" intro sums it up. A story about a missing child, taken by a big black creature. This leads us to the supernatural explanation of the law. Billie's disappearance can be explained by parallel and in-between worlds. The girls find a hidden passageway in Billie's house, which leads to a strange room. Suha is the first of the girls to go through the hidden passageway. It leads to the attic of Billie's house, to a peaceful and quiet day. Maybe to a memory, or a parallel universe. We will explore that more when we get to the collective soul and unconscious. Now, we haven't addressed a big theme in Billie's lore yet: youth and childhood. A lot of the props and B-roll, pun intended, is childhood themed. In the debut album content we have the 11 balls lying around everywhere, the childhood carefreeness vibe of the girls in the attic, and the teddy bears. In What Is Your B? There are dice, discarded teddy bears, and a toy store. Even the pre-debut teaser had the slogan, "The loss of innocence and illusion of normalcy," on it, in which innocence can stand for childhood. The song Gingamingeo is based on the children's song, Old MacDonald Had a Farm, with the word Gingamingeo following the melody of E-E-I-E-I-E-O, and the music video was partly filmed on a playground set. On Children's Day 2022, they posted childhood photos of the members together with the phrase, "What was your B?" In the concept film for the Billage of Perception Chapter 2, which is called The End of the World and the Awakening, we see the child versions of the members. This is also the first full appearance of Billlie. She appears as a girl in overalls wearing a cat mask. I'll talk about the cat November and the other lover characters later on. The girls were all struggling as children. Suha didn't have anyone to take care of her when she got hurt or show her safety measures for when she tried something new. Soohyun was left alone in the dark with her nightmares. Haram was quiet and studious, but afraid of punishment and probably physical punishment. Suki had been taught to care way too much about her appearance way too early. Sean was forced to keep dancing to the point of exhaustion even though she was still a child. Shiun didn't have anyone to talk to about her negative feelings. Haruna was lonely and needed constructive help. Billlie helped all of them to live more freely and a bit more careless, as children should feel safe too. She showed them how to play games and play pretend and what it means to love and be loved. She stayed with them when they needed help and comfort the most. Therefore, I think Billlie could be a representation of childhood. A good childhood where it's possible to just be a kid and play and learn. And maybe at the end of primary school, the girls interact less and less with Billlie and finally lay her to rest in a grave of flowers under the world tree. They bury their child selves. That was an interpretation with a focus on childhood. If we focus more on puberty and growing up, there's a similar but different interpretation. There are a lot of dreamy and nostalgic sequences depicting childhood, but then again growing up into a teenager and then an adult is given a much darker vibe. If we stay with the concept film, The End of the World and The Awakening, a bit longer, we see the adult versions of the members visiting the flower grave and watching the school collapse. Billlie wants to tell us that our B-sides used to be prominent when we were children, but when we conform to the rules and restrictions of society, we lose our B-side. I believe that they use the image of the school to represent these systemic and societal pressures that force our B-sides into hiding. It basically kills our child selves and the freedom we once lived with. This is the metaphorical interpretation of the disappearance and maybe death of Billlie. They talk about rules limiting their options in Gingamingayo, while in Ring by Ring it still was, no rules cause we're in wonder years. Billlie also shows us that there is hope. This change doesn't happen naturally, because the girls long for the missing B-side part of themselves as adults. They are lonelier, sadder and more bored as teenagers, which we can see in the concept films of the Billage of Perception Chapter 1 and 2 and the Collective Soul and Unconscious Chapter 1. But the girls have started to find their way back to the B-side. This is represented by the school collapsing, the purple rain falling and them reconnecting. In the concept film they say, "The world is destroyed and my mature self is born. An old vow is reborn as a new oath. You can wait right there. I will go rescue you." These last sentences are also lyrics from Ring by Ring. They remind us once more about the parallels between the versions of the story that we are shown with each comeback. Same, but different. This time these words are said with resolve. Then the girls introduce their B-sides and address us as Billlie Love. My B-side, revealed while trying to erase. I found you, my Billlie. Tell me your B. This third concept film shows parallels to the previous ones, but most importantly also progress. The girls have already found their B-sides. They found Billlie, and they invite us to do the same. This time, instead of a big black creature or a stranger, they are talking about the thing, with an X and an O for eyes, a strange mechanical thing that chases them throughout the Ring Marbell music video. There is a 1982 movie called The Thing, based on the 1938 novella, Who Goes There? By John W. Campbell. I mention this because it has an amazingly deep connection to Billlie lore. A movie from the genres of horror or science fiction would have been called a B-movie at the time. It's about a shape-shifting alien that can imitate humans perfectly, so it's impossible to tell what's real or fake. It's a story about the erosion of trust in a small community. About the paranoia that your friend might actually be your enemy, which reminds me of flipping a coin. And it is a story about the fear of being betrayed by our bodies. This brings us to a more physical version of the growing up interpretation. The big terrible thing coming to take us can be seen as society, but also as the obvious physical changes we go through in puberty. Especially girls are suddenly, violently torn away from childhood when their bodies change. The safety and protection of childhood is more or less brutally ripped away by first experiences of objectification and harassment, even though the girls themselves are, in their minds, still children. In that way I think that the death of Billlie can be the death of our childhood self, brought about involuntarily by our bodies and society's reaction to these new forms of our bodies. It makes sense, doesn't it? The girls talk about blood and something coming from the seemingly safest person, and Ring by Ring has such a jarring beat and a harsh setting for the dance parts. Also, Billlie could be a friend that underwent these changes earlier than the others in her friend group, if we want to see Billlie Love as a real person. I firmly believe that there is a feminist interpretation to Billie's lore. In the concept film, Enchanted Night, White Night, which was released with the third volume of the, so far, trilogy, The Billage of Perception, we see many parallels again. There's Billie's house, this time in a suburban setting. The bird which we've seen in the first film with the masked adults is now a cute and maybe creepy owl. The siren that sounded like a crazy bird makes an appearance in the form of a police car. The blue and red lights of this police car turn the rain kind of purple, which could be an explanation for the purple rain the girls always seem to remember. It could be a way their brains remember a traumatic situation without actually having to face it. We see the house again, with a hallway and a bookcase like in the first music video. The attic with the feathers that feels like it's outside of time and space. The girls sitting in the same position in all the timelines, the carefree school days again, and a room where they see scenes from previous releases as if on glowing screens. A kind of memory library. I think that this third part of the trilogy shows us that the girls have succeeded even more in finding Billlie. Suki and Haruna are able to revisit what happened before and even see their past selves now. They are starting to face themselves and the events in their past. They are almost able to see who entered the house that night. There's also a lot more about memories. For example, maybe the ambiguity is what makes memories dazzling. We remember only some parts of the past, so it always looks more perfect than it really was. And we have a new special event. When the longest night comes, with the moon hanging the lowest, something will happen. We see the girls sitting on the roof together, but the voice telling us about what will happen is cut off. Still, it feels like we have taken a step forward in this concept film. In the most recent release, Appendix, memory is also a main topic. When I look back far, there are some things I left behind. There are some things I have lost. As I walk on the street, there are some things I left behind because they were heavy. There are the memories I have erased in sorrow. The ones I definitely want to take back, that I want to protect. Although it wasn't categorized as Billage of Perception or Collective Soul and Unconscious, it seems like an addition to the Billage of Perception to me. Throughout the concept video teasers narrated by you and the music videos for Memory Candy and Trampoline, we have 5 different narratives, as well as a lot of fun jumping sequences in between. The members are separated into 4 groups: Suha and Suki, Haram and Sean, Shiyun and Haruna, and finally Soohyun on her own. In addition, there is a new story about how the girls lost their friendship and happiness. Let's start with Shiyun and Haruna, our youngest members. We see them walking along a country road, bruised and defeated, with a column of black smoke in the background. It seems that they have just escaped some kind of a disaster, like a fire or a car crash in the middle of nowhere. When they take a break, Haruna is happily playing with her teddy bear and skipping stones, while Shiyun flips through her half-destroyed journal and struggles. Remember how she had a journal in Billlie Chapter 1 too? If the teddy bear stands for childhood, the journal stands for the memories remaining from childhood and youth. They are damaged, and it may be painful to look at them. Shiyun makes a wish on a 4-leaf clover, probably that she will get over those bad events in her past and live happily from now on, and starts throwing the drawings away. I think Shiyun threw away the bike because it was heavy, and throws away the drawings in sorrow, like the narration said. And there is also one she wants to keep. Because you can't just erase all of your past, it shaped you after all. Haruna gives her strength and comfort and helps her make her wish come true by building a stone tower on her caged bird drawing. Suddenly paper cranes flutter around them, one turns into a yellow candy and Shiyun sees a happy memory. They start running. Soohyun is on her own, looking for something with a radio and binoculars. She is also in the middle of nowhere. She tries jumping to catch a signal. The trampoline surrounded by flowers reminds me of Billie's flower grave. Finally, Soohyun notices a cloud shaped like a bird and tries to reach it. Suha and Suki are in a heist-type situation. When they go into the somewhat abandoned building, there are these colorful capsules everywhere. Right at the entrance, there is a trash can overflowing with it. They hold the memory candies from the title track of Appendix. There is a brief interlude where they hang out with the snowy man, but after that, we're back to a heist scene. Suha is opening drawers, stomping some empty capsules away, until they find a key and a safe. Out tumble even more capsules, but this time they are filled with gems and candy like the one Shiyun found. They scoop as many of the memory candies up as they can. After a long time, they finally found them and can access those memories again. Then comes a strange sequence. Suki is looking at diamonds and bites into a giant one. It looks like harem's B-side symbol bijou. Eating it represents trying to nourish the soul. With regular jewels, you won't get any happiness. But with memories, you can survive through hardships. They fill you up and give you energy to go on, just as real food does for the body. So Sue hands Suki a candy, and suddenly she remembers everything and they start running too. Like Shiun and Haruna, Sean and Harem are on a lonely piece of road, but with a lot of luggage, and they are desperate to get somewhere quickly. There's a traffic sign saying, "Billie and Love, what is your B? Real friend only." They wave down a car, and load in their suitcases. She puts a small glass bottle with tiny colorful pearls on the rearview mirror. Probably another version of the memory candy. They are apathetic, frustrated, or like someone might be chasing them. Maybe they fought. Harem gets a sudden memory when she pushes the brakes too abruptly, pulls over and leaves with the glass bottle. They reconcile through Sean's cassette player. The tape says, "Of all we have lost." They open the boot of the car, see the something sparkling, leave their memory luggage behind and speed off. The three pairs reunite in a residential area, as if they haven't seen each other in a while. There's a boarded up door, with graffiti like, "Believe, Butterfly, 11 times, and, Billie." Inside is a nostalgic looking room, that looks like another variation of the attic and Billie's house. Soohyun is waiting in there, like she was waiting for the guests for her party to arrive, but no one ever came. We see all their things there, the glass bottle, the cassette, the drawings, the teddy bear, the trampoline. And all 7 girls finally reunite. The final storyline explains how all this happened. Soohyun is alone and suddenly finds herself on the trampoline. I think she has been abandoned and dreams herself into another world to cope with it. She is isolated and cannot reach what she is looking for. She relives their story on that trampoline. The friend group used to meet up in the room and be happy. They used to eat bee candy, have fun and play, like looking for shapes in the clouds. They all used to see a bird cloud. But as time goes on, the others didn't want to share her bee candy or forgot how to. They became sad, lethargic, and didn't see the bird anymore. They don't even react or seem to see Soohyun anymore. Only Soohyun remains awake, remembers their B-sides and how happy they were together. The others look like empty shells of themselves. That's how the girls ended up in different situations, missing something, but unsure what. The members have lost their B-sides while growing up, but Soohyun remembers all of them: Bishop, Birdcage, Bijou, Blossom, Bubbles, Beast, Balloon. She wakes up from these memories with a start, sad and confused as to why the others didn't want to stay with her. In this story, Soohyun is Billie, who was abandoned by the others. The bird is Bonbon, a lover who visits people who want to dream and helps them find cherished memories through memory candy. Now we're finally getting to Billie's other album concept, the collective soul and unconscious. The music video starts with a quote by psychologist Carl Jung: "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." He coined the concept of the collective unconscious, a layer that goes even deeper than the personal unconscious, which for example houses repressed traumatic experiences. The collective unconscious is a mystical psychological representation of the collective human soul that influences the mind in exceptional states like dreams. It brings up deeply rooted mythological symbols and motifs. Encounters with it can terrify as well as heal the individual. This concept leads us into a reading of Billie's lore focused on psychology and dreams, as well as the paranormal and the multiverse, or in this case, the Billieverse. The collective soul and unconscious videos repeat just enough elements of Billie's story for us to recognize it and then takes it into a totally different direction. We see the members as teenagers, now in an urban setting, alone and bored. Rumors about a girl who disappeared are being shared around them, then they reunite little by little and start to remember. But this time they meet not in real life, but in the unconscious or maybe another world. There's a short scene in which they lock a door and run away that looks straight out of a horror movie. They seem to be locking the door behind them so that the monster inside wouldn't come out. This scene shows how the girls became guilty, ran away and lied. But it's just a little snippet, not something that's explained in detail. Then at the end we see them rushing back to open the door again while someone with short hair, maybe Billie, watches them. We have heard about the purple invitation before. It arrived as a text message in the first concept film, and in The End of the World and the Awakening, as a purple letter. This time, it is preceded by voices inside their heads, asking them to remember and making them feel guilty. The purple message arrives in the form of a B card, with a different dream vader for each member on the other side. They appear from strange places, inside a VCR, inside a vending machine, in a book, from a photo booth, on a phone. The girls recognize this message, which many BYOB think comes from Billie to invite him to the strange world. After this, the purple rain falls and the girls discover a passageway or portal to the strange world, where they meet up in a hotel lobby. There they receive a message on a typewriter and reply. What's really interesting is that in the music video for Gingamingayo, a song that resembles a children's song, there are playful as well as nightmarish horror elements. The way the girls travel, for example, Haruna falls through the bed as a reference to A Nightmare on Elm Street, Shiun through the TV in allusion to Poltergeist, and a typewriter scene like in The Shining. If we look at the story as a paranormal story, we can say that Billie was somehow taken to the B-side, the strange world, while the girls remain on the A-side, which is reality. The B-side is dangerous, and Billie is trying to send them messages to make them remember and rescue her. And in this era, the members are starting to explore ways to go to the strange world, although they have only reached a halfway place, the strange hotel with passageways to several strange parallel and liminal universes. The hotel lobby reminds of the Grand Budapest Hotel, which has a nonlinear narrative structure, just like Billie's Law. It's subversive to juxtapose these two concepts, childhood and horror. It produces a similarly jarring atmosphere to the contrast between the harsh neon lighting for the dance parts and the soft color grading in the acting sequences of Ring by Ring, and makes us think about the strangely fitting connections between depictions of childhood innocence, trauma and horror. I think it is perfect to represent the teenage years. Basically, you're still just a child, but then, suddenly, everything becomes totally strange. You don't understand your emotions anymore. Your parents don't understand anything about your life and no one explains any of it to you. All this comes straight from the lyrics of Gingamingayo. For example, what's it called? Beauty of growing up. Can't complain, even though there's something wriggling inside me. I hold it in like an adult. Friends are the only ones who can understand me. And even the title of the song fits. Gingaminga is a word Koreans use when they can't think of a word for what they want to say, like whatchamacallit or thingamajig in English, chingadera in Spanish, nanainai in Japanese or dingsbums in German. The choreography perfectly encapsulates these drastic changes through quickly changing facial expressions, for which Suki went viral, as you probably know. Quick cuts between very different scenes and atmospheres, and the general strangeness of it all. Sean travels through a mirror dimension, Suki through a giant wrapped present and out of a briefcase, Harem through a locker and what looks like the closet from The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, Sua through a vending machine turning into an elevator. Only Soohyun's door opens directly into the lobby. Soohyun has a special role in this era, which I'll discuss when I get to the members' individual stories. Sua, Haruna and Shiun are on a scary playground, where fun games are suddenly unpredictable and dangerous. This shows that there's no way to return to childhood and its safety and naivete. The three of them also travel from the playground into Shiun's TV while she is sleeping in her room. We see Shiun sleeping and also on TV. This brings us back to the quote at the beginning about the unconscious and dreams, and also reminds of the film Inception, where there are several layers to the dreams and you're never quite sure if the characters are back in reality or still asleep. Maybe Billie is calling to finally wake him up for real. Suki and Harem's storyline might be Harem's dream. The strange world is so weird to represent how incomprehensible the adult world is for teenagers with all its rules and expectations. It feels like the floors are warping, Like anything can change at any moment, like nothing is predictable, and all the while you're being watched and judged. Suki and Harem try to find the right door back to the normal world or to find Billlie, but everything turns just stranger, like the room with frantic doodles and eyes everywhere. There's also the scene where we enter into Sean's heart through a little B-shaped door and find ourselves in this intense and frantic room that represents the force of teenagers' emotions. Soohyun and Sean are at an 11th birthday party at a diner. When they ring the bell, the candles light up and they step into a memory or a parallel universe, symbolized by the Dream Vader not appearing on the Polaroid they took. They see a memory of them all celebrating happily. But then that world disintegrates and Soohyun tries to at least save the phone, which could stand for a memory of that scene. There are several other appearances of the strange world. In the Ring by Ring music video, there is the colorful staircase that the girls access through a circular door, and that leads to a door that turns out to be a portal to the attic of Billie's house. In Billie's first anniversary VR concert, the Interlude of 11, they summarize key parts of the lore and then have one of the girls, or maybe Billlie, step into the strange world, which in this case totally defies all laws of nature. B-side symbols are floating around and the ground is a giant chessboard. During the performances, the girls travel from a harsh and minimalistic world to the Moon Palace through another portal door. This is for sure a dreamland because of the crazy architecture, the half-finished room vaguely resembling their music video sets, and the sudden disintegration of the room into a street winding through outer space with memory objects flying around it. The strangest rooms through the eras are very minimalistic, not really scary but very strange and kind of hypnotic. There is the colorful Ring by Ring room with writing on the walls and objects strewn about, the black and white room of the Interlude of 11, the black, white and purple room with hypnotic patterns and a giant eye watching over them, which turns into a portal like the one to the strange room in Gingamingeo with the drawings and eyes all over it. The music video for the Japanese version of Jinja Minga Yo combines elements from all previous releases, but mostly the collective soul and unconscious. They are in Billie's house and find all of their bees there. It's again the atmosphere of visiting a place you haven't been in a long time. There is the stained glass window from Haruna's room and the bookshelf, for example. There's a sad nostalgic vibe. Sua finds a bishop chess piece in a book of fairy tales that has been retitled Billlie Love. The chess piece is hidden inside an illustration of the witch from Yorinde and Yoringal. The witch transforms into a cat or an owl during the day. The girls seem to remember something when they find their bees. Shiun finds a fuzzy purple book with the Billlie logo on it. Inside it says Billlie backwards over and over. She thereby finds a hidden door in the bookcase and they get to a blue room with beds and jump happily on the bed. There's also a purple room which is probably a memory where feathers fly around like they did in the attic in other eras. Haruna discovers a passageway underneath the biggest bed and they crawl through. Suki is too late, so she travels through a bed, like Haruna did in the Korean Gingamingeo video. They return to the same house, but it's suddenly decorated for an 11th birthday party. While everyone else comes back through the bookcase door, Suki climbs out of a violin case, like she did from the briefcase before. The whole vibe is now more calm and childlike. Sean and Soohyun are the ones to blow out the candles and we have a long happy party sequence like for the credits of Gingamingeo. Strange elements are the snowy man dancing with them in the purple room, an owl suddenly flying over them, Suki and Haruna behaving differently on the stairs, whispering to each other and finding the passageways. I think in many scenes, the younger members have a special role. This could be because they're still closer to childhood and remember more easily. The girls also fly or rather fall through the sky like in Ring Ma Bell. In the end, we see them all asleep, just like in Snowy Night. So was it all a dream? Did the travel to the dreamland, the strange world, the B-side? I'm now also discussing the story from the Ring Ma Bell music video as part of the collective soul and unconscious because we don't follow several different storylines. The members all play the same role, switching quickly in their search for an exit from the scary situation. Suki turns into Shiun, who turns into Harem, who turns into Haruna, who turns into Sua, who turns into Soohyun, who turns into Sean, who turns into Suki. They travel to other realities through various switches, bells and doors, changing into another member each time. Almost all of them look like they're on the run or afraid. Suki finally ends this cycle by picking up the guitar pick, bravery, and destroying the thing with music and her decision to change something. She is transported onto the roof where the other girls are waiting for her. Soohyun takes the lead, followed by the cat November, and shows the others that it's possible to fly. At the end, they look free and happy. I believe that while the concept film and lyrics of that era are the Billage of Perception Chapter 2, this music video belongs to the collective soul and unconscious. Billie's first single, Snowy Night, is a Christmas-themed song released shortly after the group's debut. It is also the first release with Shawn and Billlie as a 7-member group. The song is part of the prequel trilogy of the collective soul and unconscious. We haven't had any other releases from this trilogy yet. For their seasonal single, Billlie chooses yet another genius mixture of styles and moods. The teaser is filmed in a stop-motion-like effect, or like a TV malfunctioning, and reminds of A Nightmare on Elm Street, where doors open to 7 holiday-themed worlds. There's also the instrumental of O Tannenbaum, which sounds very eerie combined with the horror style of the video. The fragmented style could also hint at gaps in memory. The members are in a remote cabin, scared, looking for comfort in each other's company. Suddenly they disappear in groups. Soo and Shawn again through the bed, like sleep opens a door to another world. Haram and Suki are the last ones left and are totally terrified. We never see the threat, just their emotions. It's masterfully done. For the music video we switch to a more realistic version of this intro. The girls are bored in the remote cabin on Christmas Day. They are reading Tao Te Ching, a Taoist philosophy text. Tao has no material form, it's neither material nor spiritual but guides cosmic order. It's an all-encompassing harmony with yin-yang, complementary duality. Faust by Goethe, in which Faust makes a bargain with the devil in his desire for knowledge. It's about the nature of men and morals and temptation. Finally, also Martin Chuzzlewit by Charles Dickens, one of the first private detective characters. Then Shawn finds a snow globe of the moon Christmas Luna and they all use the door to step into a space world resembling Smashing Pumpkins, Tonight, with the moon from Georges Méliès, who used nonlinear storytelling for his concept of space. From then on it's all about reality. Pop culture references like There Is No Spoon, from Matrix, i.e. the limitations of the logical mind are self-imposed, and the spinning top from Inception, where it acts as a reality test. If it never stops spinning, you're still asleep. There's a very staged reality of the members dancing in a paper world in one of the boxes, and the red world that very obviously looks like a stage with props instead of real trees. And then the philosophy concept of simulacra and simulation from Baudrillard, which discusses the relationship between symbols, reality and society, especially the symbolisms and significations of culture and media involved in the construction of an understanding of a shared existence. A simulation is an imitation of a real-world process or system over time. A simulacra is a copy that depicts something that no longer exists or has no original. I think that the cabin is in the real world, and Christmas Luna represents the unconscious, the B-side. Haram and Suki are kidnapped and locked in a cell in this version. There are abandoned toys there, once again representing the end of childhood. The number 10 to the power of 35 refers to the distance to the farthest point in the universe. Haram and Suki now have bunny ears and are scared of the snowy man at first, but later on happily work in his workshop and drink the blue liquid he offers to friends. The blue drink could be another reference to Matrix, to the blue pill that represents being content with a false reality. Maybe the girls are actually scared, but their minds choose to frame it as a friendly interaction. Because the next time we see them, they are locked up again and eager to flee. The other girls find traces leading them to the key and the bell that allow him to free Haram and Suki. The snowy man now rather playfully runs after them and is left behind, while the girls return to reality feeling refreshed. Was this all a dream? But Suki and Christmas Luna still have bunny ears, at least in the mirror. The snowy man was the first of the lover characters to be introduced. He is Yeti-like, has 13 heart teeth, lives on Christmas Luna in Billie's multiverse and has never been to Earth, so he acts strangely. He loves to gift a blue drink to friends. I think he is only a stand-in for the monster in the Snowy Night music video. Because any other time, he is just a tall, hairy, awkward friend to the girls, going along with whatever they are doing, and even bound to a piano in appendix, so he might be just a very unusual friend of theirs. I don't think he is evil at all, just a bit strange. Dream Vader is introduced with Gingamingeo, a rabbit with one eye and wings. It comes from the Swedish fictional Skurvader, which was created by taxidermist Rudolf Granberg in 1918. The word squader is used today to describe a bad compromise or a combination of contradictory elements, which is listed as one of Dream Vader's ability. Maybe he can fly, maybe not, but he definitely makes very unsettling bird-like noises. He is a protective figure that shields us from nightmares in the dreamland. The pearls from the necklace reappear as little planets in the music video, showing us that everyone lives in their own universe. They could also be Gamiho knowledge beads, which absorb humans' bad energy, from Korean mythology. The giant eye of Dream Vader is the camera for some parts of the video. There are similarities to the White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland, who stands for the concept of time slipping away and the pressure of keeping up with expectations, which fits very well with the theme of growing up. We see 7 different versions of Dream Vader on the B cards that the girls receive, plus a Joker card, which is probably Billie's. Maybe Dream Vader sent the cards to them from the dreamland. The cat November is introduced alongside Ring Ma Bell and is a spiritual guardian for Billie, bringing fortune and peace, wisdom and care, like a parent or an older sibling. She has 7 whiskers and odd eyes, 1 mystic blue and 1 mystic purple. She has a mystic connection between Billlie Love and Billie and appears often in the world, so maybe in both reality and the strange world. November reminds of the beckoning cat Maneki Neko, where a black one stands for warding off evil. Black cats have contradictory meanings across cultures. In some, they are considered good luck, in others bad luck. The first mention of a cat was in Ring by Ring. There is no cat, so maybe there was no guardian at that time. Then November is introduced like this. The mask young Billie was wearing all the time is hanging on the tree. Under the tree, the black cat's eyes are shining as she watches the 7 of them. It's not really clear why Billlie Love wore a cat mask. Maybe the mask is a sign of someone having embraced their B-side. Anyway, Billlie Love wearing the mask was a turning point in each of their lives. She helped him to heal, grow and open up to the world again. That could be why so many masks exist. Finally, there is also the black cat analogy, which goes like this. Science is looking for a black cat in a dark room with a flashlight, i.e. looking for evidence. Theology is being in a dark room looking for a black cat that isn't there and shouting, I found it, i.e. repeating a preconceived truth. Glau is an owl introduced with eunoia, odd-eyed with heart-shaped pupils, enveloped in a coat of atomic tangerine-colored feathers. Also spelled with an X at the end once, which would be the Greek word for owl. Glau is a little owl or Athene noctua. Owls are the companion or representative animals of the Greek goddess Athena and symbolize wisdom. This historical connection is humorously referred to by calling Glau the former model of ancient Greek coins and art. Glau is a lover that forever stays in the B-side world, imparts wisdom, and shows the way when you don't know where to go and who to be. Glau's countenance is perennially fixed towards the direction of 11 o'clock as if by some mystical force that compels its gaze. So Glau will lead us to the special moment of 11 where we can become who we really are. There are references to a bird even in the debut albums. The siren-like bird screech might have been Glau's. Liza is a lizard with enigmatic geometric patterns adorning her entire body, shrouded in mystique, mystic blue, mystic purple and mystic mint. The colors subtly shift in hue with the ever-changing ambient temperature and the nuances of the surrounding air, down to her whirl-shaped tail. She is odd-eyed like November, But even her irises and pupils are opposite colors and look like the number 11. Liza heralds change and new beginnings. Like shedding old clothes to don exquisite hues, it imparts the sensation of being born anew, promising fresh and joyful opportunities as Billie's newfound companion. Because lizards shed their skin regularly, they are the perfect symbol for revealing a different version of yourself and moving through different stages of growing up. She was found in the enchanting labyrinthine alleys of Barcelona's Güell Park. There is a real state there made by Gaudí. Liza is a friend who always observes surroundings attentively, responding sensitively even to the subtlest of changes. That's why we hold Liza dear as a wise companion, rich in observation and empathy. Liza is all about reflectiveness, empathy and the Korean concept of nunchi. Liza embodies an intermediary presence, existing in the sky, beneath the water's surface, and upon the earth, akin to a wormhole bridging this space and that, exhibiting a quantum duality where it exists here and simultaneously inhabits another realm. As our guide, it leads us to alternate dimensions, subtly hinting at the coexistence of another place. Liza is more passive than the other lovers, but still helps us navigate between dimensions and understanding other people. Bonbon is a tiny but precious bird with two big sparkly eyes, a candy wrapper hat and some mystic mint and pink feathers. Bonbon visits people who want to dream and helps them find cherished memories to give them direction. She grew up on memory candy and its mystical taste. Nobody knows how many candies she swallowed. Bonbon is the embodiment of memory candies. When the girls see Bonbon, they remember how to access those memories again. So far we have 6 lover characters who accompany and guide Billie and us. I hope we see more of them soon. Domino is Billie's first original Japanese song. The album is called Knock-on Effect, which means that something inevitably causes other events or situations indirectly, like a train of dominoes knocking each other down. Only the first one was pushed, but it causes a chain reaction. The second part of the track title is Butterfly Effect, which means that something small can result in large changes, like a butterfly flapping its wings causing a tornado. We therefore see a lot of butterfly imagery in this era, something we've seen in previous eras as well. In the music video, the girls are in a submarine, again somewhat bored and apathetic. Then Sean goes into the control room, they read butterfly tarot cards and suddenly the whole story starts all over again. They remember, start running, there's a mirror dimension again, Suki cuts Shiyun's bangs to awaken her senses and make her see. They reunite in the control room and in the end leave the submarine to cause the butterfly effect. It's lovely aesthetically and a representation of another version of the storyline. BYOB or Bring Your Own Best Friend is a single celebrating friendships. Romantic relationships are often ascribed more value in public discourse. As teenagers, talk about love interests can start to dominate conversations between friends. This song reminds us that friendships are the stable foundation on which we rely and where we can be ourselves. This important part of our lives needs to be protected and maintained. So we should create friends only times where we focus on the deep connection between friends. Like enforcing the Bechdel test on everyday life. Especially when not everyone is interested in discussing whether a boy is interested or not. Dang, Hocus Pocus, is a song about not yet knowing yourself. It feels like there are different versions of yourself, but not even you know which one is the truest, the B-side. Specifically, it refers to the MBTI personality types in the chorus, F or T, P or J, I don't even know, what am I, who am I? The chorus changes from, I don't even know, to, anything is right, free up your mind, you know that's all mine. The song shows the development from being unsure and insecure to embracing the different layers and parts of yourself as one. There can be contradicting parts, blue and purple, and that's all right too. The mini-album title is Side B, Memoirs of Echo Unseen, so it tells the story as it is echoed in the unconscious world. The music video starts with a quote, "Reality can vary greatly from our intuition." Sean is once again using a machine to communicate, this time a computer. Puzzle pieces represent memories here. Rubik's cubes make Xiun and Sean fall into the strange world, into a pink room that slightly resembles the hotel lobby. There's the layers to reality or the unconscious with the girls simultaneously in the computer and in front of it. They are lost and alone on a dark road and at a train station under a sign that says, "The road to November 10th. The members seem to be waiting for something. Finally, there is the minimalistic dream world with a hologram of Billie's house in the background and 13 moon phases in the sky. The girls stare up at a gigantic crescent moon. The Soul Savior, I Don't Need a Superman, kicks off Billie's Odditorium, a series of singles, making them sound like exhibits in a museum. It's a fan song but can also be interpreted as a song to our B-side or someone who has helped us out of a bad mental state. Just seeing that person gives strength and hope. They know when you need them as if by magic, suddenly you see a path forward and feel real emotions again. The message is that we don't need a superhero to save us. We need a soul savior who gives us the strength to change and grow on our own. We are the main characters of our story, not some Superman. The second single from the Odditorium is January 0th, a hope song. It's all about new beginnings. January 0th is the moment between the end of the old year and the beginning of the new one, a perfectly blank slate. It's the in-between of waiting for a new day to start so that you can leave old troubles behind and dream again. It's about coming out of a bad mental state and suddenly feeling hopeful and excited as if bathed in light. All our lovers are there as guardians and guides too.